And there we are. Or there I am, I guess, right now. I do need to check and see. I will have the chat up at least more quickly this week. I'm going to try typing out a hello there now, actually, just to let you guys know I'm here. But this is the You, Me, and BTC live podcast. If you've come here before, then you know the whole shindig. But we do this show every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Normally, I am joined by my two co-hosts because I am the main host. They take up the whole co-host kind of signals beside me. I am the center. They are the men at my side. They are my right hand and left hand men. But Daniel Brown and Zach Vold, they're normally with me. Both of them are out for right now. Zach may be dead. I'm not quite sure. Zach very well may be dead. So if you follow him, which if you listen to this show and you don't follow him, I'm not exactly sure what you're doing. Follow him first off because, well, he's dead now and you guys can get like a dead guy's Twitter account. So that's pretty cool. And then also just in case there is actual power in tweeting and we can actually like all those tweets that people have after a disaster when they're like, oh, everybody, oh, my thoughts, people won't say the prayers because I don't pray. Praying's stupid. And then they'll just be, well, my thoughts are with you. I'm so concerned with this disaster that I had to make a point on that, like with a, it's not national television. It's obviously not national television. My reach on Twitter is not national television, but then you have people acting like they're reaching all these people with this sympathy that they have, and that we should feel bad for them. We should feel like they're doing something here. What's up, NY Cartoons? Thank you for meeting me there in the chat. If you want to get this episode later, or if you want to get to our live shows, you can always go to ymb.tc/live. I don't think that's set up right now because I don't think there's a landing page. But normally you can just go to our website at youmeandbtc.com. Like I was saying, follow Zach on Twitter, hit him up there. If you want to tweet at a dead guy, go do that. If you've never gotten to do that before, it's pretty much like seeing a dead body. It's kind of like our version of it. Like kids go down to the tracks and, hey, you want to go tweet at a dead guy? What's up? But that doesn't work. And yes, no, true. Rip Zach. Daniel's out. If you've followed the show at all recently, Daniel is throwing his life away. He's moving to Canada. He's going to go live in the mountains and live in an ascetic monk style life up there. He's just going to say A to people and harvest maple syrup from only the best trees. He's only going to harvest it from trees that give him full consent. Now Daniel's getting married this weekend. I'm actually headed out there on Saturday. That's why I have the new haircut. So actually, as you guys are watching too now, and it's, especially if you're listening to this later, tell me that my haircut sucks, then I can think about how much of an asshole I looked like at this wedding. But let me know about that. Let me know about how I need to make my voice deeper. I'm really trying to come back with a bridesmaid from this whole shindig. So I'm trying to like drag somebody back to Pittsburgh, and I need to be like on my game for that. Zach's a little bit iffy. It's good that he's out of the equation because he is taller than me. I don't like competition. Not that I can really take. Like, if you've seen Daniel, his at least one brother is like Daniel, but then actually traditionally masculine and attractive. Not Daniel's kind of like weird halfway in between. I may be a tween girl and I may be a awkward 15-year-old boy thing he has going. But I'm going to have a little bit of problem with him, with his brother, but his brother is already married. So unless the girl really wants to get involved with breaking up a God's holy union, I think I'll do okay. But again, tweet Daniel. You can get him at YouMeanBTC. He runs the Twitter account. You can get Zach on Twitter at Zach Vol with a CH for Zach. And then also you can get me on Twitter. I didn't know if I even introduced myself. I'm Tim. Hello. And you can get me at Baker's Dozen 93 on Twitter. But yeah, send Daniel send him your well wishes. Let him know you guys are thinking about him, because if I know Daniel at all, he's probably concerned about people not loving him enough. He's forcing somebody else to make it a legal precedent that she does love him. So you can see he's probably not in the most stable mindset right now. But I'm doing the show. I'm pretty sure by myself. Daniel popped in last week. Like I said, Zach's dead, but Daniel popped in last week at the end, but I don't think that's happening this week. So I'm pretty much just going to be going through any crypto kind of. I've kind of just Daniel sent some stuff over the week in our little group chat that we have. I might go over a few of those things. And then I found a few that I want to talk about myself. Then I also have, it's not crypto related, but it is related to this whole space, which I might go into. I might just stay away from it with this whole Kavanaugh, or however the fuck you say the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court motherfucker's name. That it's kind of dwarfed by that right now. I haven't really heard much else about it either, so I'd have to Google everything. But I might bring that up at the end. Me personally, as I said, Zach's dead, Daniel's getting married, and I don't even know if you can see it on the screen, but I have a wart on my elbow, which I've been sticking whatever it is, like salicylic acid on it for the past couple weeks. Now I have some weird fucking Band-Aid / medication thing on there because I'm trying to rip that out. Because again, already mentioned Bridesmaid, the wart doesn't really help to seal that deal there. Besides this, oh yeah, before I do get into the episode, let me tell you, besides just following Zach, also check out his show, which is called the Coin Pod. He does that normally comes out on a Tuesday. I know Daniel hasn't been updating anything on the website just because with all the wedding stuff and everything. After that, he should have it all up. I believe everything still goes up on Spreaker though, so if you want to check it there, or Spotify, or then also probably iTunes. I know Zach has his show on a crypto network. Again, follow him on Twitter, maybe message him on there, just tweet him. You can find out a little bit more about that. But the Coin Pod is like this show where we talk about Bitcoin. We have normally a conversation and not just me ranting into a microphone. Zach has a conversation, but with people who actually know things about Bitcoin and are actually doing things. And actually, it was on Twitter. Zach actually just took a new job, even though he is dead. He just took a new job, so he's actually going to be doing stuff in crypto now too. So he meshes very well with those people. He's good at talking. He's good at questions and being a good interviewer. And he always has legitimately interesting people on there, and people who are talking about legitimately interesting. I'm using legitimately too much, but people who talk about real things and actually are developing things. And Zach, very good job of getting information out of them. I do my own show every week called Tim's 2 Cents because I don't want it fuck Bitcoin. It's not at all related to Bitcoin. I have spoken about it. That's mostly just me. It's supposed to be like a beginning of the week podcast, get you set for the week, get you I talk about whatever happened over the weekend, maybe a little bit of what I'm thinking about. But I'm trying, now it doesn't always come out around this way, but I'm trying to move more into like a motivational, a little bit less just whining about things. Because actually this past week I recorded 2 episodes because the first one I did was a little bit too why doesn't like that, so I got rid of it. So you guys should appreciate me for the wonderful high energy content that I'm bringing to you. I forgot that used to be a thing on Twitter, didn't it? Especially with like Trump supporters, where it was always about something being high energy versus low energy. Now it's woke and bespoke and whatever this different dumb shit is. Everything is kind of gone the way of just absurdity at this point, and it's like we're like, well, we wouldn't be doing this like this if you weren't doing it like this, and then whoever you're talking to then goes, well, I wouldn't be doing this if you weren't doing this, and then we all just attack each other, and then we go, see, but well, my fears of being attacked are now legitimized, and it's a big clusterfuck right now, pretty much. Crypto Twitter, I don't follow it as closely as some people. Definitely, again, if you want to keep up with that, follow Zach. He knows those people a lot better. I'm sure they like him better. I'm sure I'm not the best. Like, I've been on one other show, and I mean, the guy was very nice to me. It was Adam Meister, but what am I going to say? Oh, the Bitcoin, it's good for the banks. It's bad for the bank. I'm sorry, Mr. Sir. I'm sorry, Mr. Meister. I fucked everything up. And then he goes, well, you can't swear on the show. And I'm like, fuck. but no, if you want to get involved with that, if you want to follow more of crypto Twitter, follow Zach again at Zach Vol. I don't know. I was talking about Twitter. Just crypto Twitter's fine as long as. And again, I've said this thousands of times before. If you like being pissed off, if you like just yelling at people, if you like riling people up, go on, do it. But if you the person that goes on and gets riled up and gets pissed off about what people are doing, I don't know. I guess stop. I have to tell myself that because I have a tendency to, not so much with Twitter, but I'll definitely go through stuff where it's kind of like, it's just like hate porn where you're just reading stories about stuff and just like, what the fuck is the why what, and it's all it is just this kind of, you're being sold outrage and being just like you're getting high off the anger that you're feeling right then. It's not that it's completely useless. I don't think that being angry at something really like gets rid of logic in a situation or makes you useless, but it's kind of a waste of time. And if you're just getting angry at letters on a screen or pictures, then you're not getting angry at the real things that matter in life, like the people around you that make your life miserable. Hate those people. If you need somebody to, if you have like issues with not liking yourself or looking down on yourself, just learn how to hate the people around you and kind of externalize that hate. Don't let it sit inside of you. Express it, and express it very loudly. That's part of that. I'll start just doing advice this early in the podcast this week so that I don't forget. There, I need some that. Well, no more advice. Get us a like an e-juice for like nicotine. Get us an e-juice or a nicotine gum sponsor so that they can just send me free shit. I'm sure Daniel would appreciate that. I'm sure Zach would appreciate it as well. I believe Zach's forte is more like cigars and hookah tobacco, so you can send him boxes of that shit too. But I want just juice and gum. It helps me continue to bring you guys this. But we need all of you to just go to like a website or somebody. I'm not talking about a big one because a big one's going to tell us to go fuck ourselves because they're going to go jump on the newest blockchain. They're going to make the new blockchain juice. They don't need us telling them it's a stupid idea. Get some small place and then just have them ship me like 120 milliliter bottle every month. Plus, like the half million would be cool too if you guys could do that. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of joking, but if you do like the show, if you like, besides just sharing or watching it again, definitely watch the episodes multiple times because there's just layers and layers of wisdom and good advice just trapped in they're kind of obscured by the rest of the stupidity that goes on, especially whenever I'm talking a lot. But there's definitely that you got to look closely for them. You got to like pick through the videos very easily. But the besides all that, besides sharing them, besides liking the stuff, do all that. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Spreaker and Spotify and all the different places. But then also, if you you probably don't do this with somebody that you absolutely need to like kind of dance around their emotions. Most normally those people aren't the best for trying new things with. I mean, I would definitely say if you have people like that where you're going, I don't know if I want to play a podcast around them, they're going to get pissed off. Probably get rid of those people in your life. They're probably not the best people to have around. They're probably not the nicest. They're probably not the most positive in your life. But even if it's somebody who's going to be like, turn this shit off. I don't want to listen to Bitcoin shit. I hear you talk about it enough. That's fine, but at least play it for them. At least annoy them for a little bit because I'm sure they've done something to annoy you. Yeah, I'm sure it's not just a one-way street right here. You can always think of some way that somebody has slighted you. I'm very good at that. I'm very good at, even if you have to make it up. The same way with jokes, there's always a little bit of truth in even a made-up slight against you. You don't know their thoughts, and so you should just assume the worst in people. That's definitely the best way to go through life. Just think everybody is out to get you. Everybody's trying to steal your life force. Oh, so I'm talking away from the microphone because I'm trying. Here's another tip for you guys. This has nothing to do with crypto. If you have like foot pain or Like if you work out a lot or your job is labor intensive, you're on your feet a lot and your feet start to hurt, don't get a foot massage. I mean, you can get a foot massage. If you can afford that all the time, do that. It's probably better. But like a good thing you can do is you just take a lacrosse ball and just kind of work it around your feet, pop a few things, make it frees everything up, breaks up all the muscle down there. And I've worked with, if you listened again, I don't know if it's out yet, but if you listen to the most recent podcast, most recent episode of Tim's Two Cents, I talked a little bit about the different jobs I've done and different stuff I've gotten involved with. And I've met a lot of people with like feet problems and bone spurs, or just their feet just ache all the time. They've walked around in boots for 37 years. So, I mean, you don't really think about it until it's starting to hurt. So if you can do even just like a little bit, even just a little bit of trying to, and this goes for anything. I've definitely had the advice before of just working out, getting some of that energy out, and it seems to help with a lot of different things, whether that's depression or insomnia or a lot of different stuff. But also don't just work out, stretch, do some like hard pressure. If you can get like a rolling pin or something, you can roll out your legs. You can get like a rolling a back roller massage, like one of those tubes they'll have at a gym. You can get one of those for your house. Do stuff like that. Kind of invest in keeping your body as comfortable as you can, because like a little bit of that stuff can also, like if you work the crick out of your back, or that, I don't even know that crick is a word. It's that's just how people from where I live pronounce creek, but I don't think crick is an actual word. Or it sounds kind of racist too, but I don't know. If you can work at that stuff, you can break things up a little bit. You can always feel a little bit better later. It's not as obnoxious. Um, here, what was I trying to do? I don't know. I'm also looking for if anybody listening, again, in the future, I don't know how useful this information will be, but if anybody lives in like the Midwest, and I'm trying to be vague because I'm trying to remember if Daniel really gave out the address, or not the address, but at least this state for the wedding. I probably should just accidentally show you guys the address, see if anybody comes and crashes it. That would probably be the best possible outcome of all this for me. I would love that, but I feel like Daniel wouldn't be too happy, and I feel like his fiance would be even less thrilled with that. And I'm not staying with anybody. I'm staying at an Airbnb, so I really don't have to worry about anybody. I have a car. I don't have to worry about a ride. So I could do that. I could go full, just like nuclear destroy this friendship if I really wanted to. You guys can let me know in the chat. But let me know of anything good out in the Midwest, or like our cheese curds, or what is that what they're called? I know my grandmother was from Wisconsin and she always raved about cheese curds, which I think are just a differently aged kind of cheese and cream, and they're basically just like eating cream cheese, which I have done. I can't really say I'm above that. Also, another advice: put cream cheese in all your foods, especially like burgers or stuff like that. You can replace it. You can replace like cream cheese. Okay, yeah, there. NY Cartoons also says crick, so at least there's something. Uh, Maybe both of our speech patterns are just as fucked up as each other, but there's some solace in knowing that somebody else out there also probably mispronounces things about the body. I'm trying to sound like a hick, like physical therapist, or I'm like, you just like crush your muscles a little bit and then it helps, and you get all the cricks out, and you get all the pops and the snapple crackle pops out of your shit. But I don't know. I guess I'll start into whatever the news is we're doing this week. I don't think there was much else I really wanted to complain about. Besides, again, we need your thoughts and prayers and tweets for Zach. I'm looking over. I wrote some notes down just to try to keep me somewhat grounded in this whole thing, but whatever. First thing I'll start with, I'll do just a screen share, see how that works, at least at first. I might switch back and not worry about that. But we got here, where crypto exchange Shapeshift CEO says move to collect IDs was proactive. This is the only article I've actually read out of all the ones I've pulled up. So this will probably be the one I have at least a better opinion on. There, I have a final one in the end of this where there's a Bitcoin Core like disclosure of something that happened. There was an inflation bug, which I will have very little have actually to say about it. I'll mostly just be reporting on that. I guess you'd call this reporting. We are the new media, which is terrifying. But this is an article from CoinDesk. It's by Mark Hochstein. Crypto exchange Shapeshift CEO says move to collect IDs was, quote, proactive. Now, this is interesting just because I mean it says in here, but it's Eric Voorhees, which he's been pretty vocal about his kind of what he considered a dedication to libertarian ethics, to not having to force people to give IDs, not listening to a government's kind of random, oh, we're just having you do this so that we can stop terrorism, because that's the biggest problem with Bitcoin is that ISIS uses it. Shut up. We didn't send them trucks and guns. You shut your mouth. Don't talk. But that's what the KYC, if you don't know, it's know your customer. See, it's like one of the only acronyms in Bitcoin or crypto stuff that I know that also is financial. It's not just obviously. See, that does show a little bit of my ignorance here. That's a Bitcoin thing. No, know your customer is just this whole idea of you need to have sometimes several forms, but at least a form of ID that can link them to a bank account or an address. Sometimes, like I said, they want like a picture ID, and then also a non-photo ID, like a bill or something that proves that you actually live at that address. But the whole reason why this is a story is that recently they decided to require user identities, and then what Eric, as I call him, I go, yo, Eric, what's up? Why the fuck are you doing all this shit? And he goes, yeah, because we didn't want to get fucked over. I'm like, that makes sense, sir. I understand why you gave up on the libertarian principle of being against know your customer laws. Whenever you go, hey, I could stand up for something that like 5 people are going to care about and commend me for, or I could just do this so that I don't get screwed over as soon as they decide to take me out, or as soon as they decide they don't like what I'm doing, and they go, well, yep, that Bitcoin that you sold was then also sold to a different person, which then went through somebody else for some drugs, and then eventually 700 transactions down the line, it was used as part of purchasing a nail that was put into a bomb that never went off because we actually bought it and gave it to the guy and set it up as a sting operation, but you're under arrest now. No, I'll just read from this. In comments to CoinDesk made over the weekend, Voorhees offered some hereunto unshared rationale behind a move that prompted criticism from some in the cryptocurrency community who'd seen the site's prior policy of not requiring formally identified documents or formally identified accounts as a way to protect privacy. And I get... I'll just continue reading. I'm sorry. Quote, some had speculated that Shapeshift's new soon-to-be mandatory membership model announced in early September was the result of a direct or indirect threat from regulators. This speculation may have been fueled in part by Voorhees' own tweet, in which he described the new customer ID system as something we're building under duress. Now, again, I can understand why people went, oh, yeah, that means he's being forced to, because saying under duress dictionary wise means you're being forced to do something. But before I go on to that, I'll continue. But Voorhees, a vocal libertarian advocate of privacy rights and a critic of know your customer KYC regulations, told CoinDesk that KYC was not added as a result of any enforcement action, rather as a proactive step we took to de-risk the company amid uncertain and changing global regulations. He added, quote, it was a strategic decision as we believe the risk of not doing so had gotten too great. It was not made lightly. Now, yeah, okay. can finally kind of say, I'm not going to say too much different than what I said before. I get why you're doing this. I get why just the benefit of not doing this, of making some kind of a stand here and saying, putting a line in the sand, go, nope, we're not going to change. We're not going to force our customers to give us any kind of identification. We're going to stand for privacy and freedom and all these great things. The reason why sure, you can do that, and then you can have the minority of people who are going to think that that's great and then use you, because there's a lot of people that might appreciate it but then not use it. They might be like, hey, that's cool, but like, I'm not gonna, that's not enough to make me go use Shapeshift. But also, there's a lot of people that just don't care in general. Like, I just want to trade Bitcoin. I just want to make money. I don't give a shit about this. And then there's the kind of like core group people like, yep, this is good. We like this. This is kind of a step in the right direction of making Bitcoin something separate from the kind of standard financial decision or financial institution. Which, if I can jump off to a side thing real quickly, I'll come back. Again, following Zach Vol, follow him at Zach Vol. He's tweeting a lot from the dead, and he's doing a lot of good stuff recently about how Bitcoin, more than any kind of these, we always hear people talking about how everything is slanted against certain people and there's a bias and it forces certain people out of an arena, and we need to make laws stronger so they're no longer forced out of arenas, and we need to do all this different stuff to help fix that. But Bitcoin solves that problem, solves the problem of how, I'll turn the screen share back on just so you guys can see my beautiful face again. It turns all that stuff. It goes, okay, you've been excluded from the financial institution, the kind of mainstream financial institution for years, decades, centuries, whatever it is. And they go, here's an alternative. Here, you can just build yourself from here. You don't have to worry about it. This is something new. This is something private. They're not people going, oh, wait, says here you have this name that we don't really like, and oh wait, you don't have a standard address, and oh, this is, you live in a, you have an occupation that we don't really agree with. There was a couple of years ago, there was a bunch of porn actors and actresses that were having bank account. I don't know if it was just the actors and actresses. I think it could have also just been like agents and lawyers and stuff like involved with it, and the bank's just going, oh, fuck you, you're gone. Which, from like a private ownership standpoint, that's the bank's right. You can go, yep, no, like they don't steal your money besides the fractional reserve whole system that's basically doing that. But they do have something of a, like, to choose their customers. They can make, oh, we don't like this whatever business, we don't want to support it. That could be a moral decision on their point. That could be a financial one. We go, like, we don't want to be involved with what could possibly happen, the ramifications for us. So Bitcoin, as Zach makes a very good point, is really what could change something like that. If we can keep everybody from just jumping onto this Bitcoin thing of just being this, well, as soon as we can just get everybody use it, we can just, we just need to make everything super simple and streamlined, and we'll have everything just like Visa, just a little bit cooler, and it'll be different. There won't be any borders, but we'll tax it forever, and we'll be very certain where everybody is and who's behind every account, because that's what stops crime. Instead of going down that road, if we can keep some of the kind of difference that Bitcoin has from the standard traditional institutions, that will help. I think I would like countless people, not even just in in all the examples I just gave. I'm not even talking about people in third world countries, people in countries with a very much tighter control on the financial institution. Not that, if you look at it just because of how big they both are, maybe the U.S. has an even greater kind of hold on our financial institutions because they're so tied in together to just survive. But it's people in more like traditionally viewed dictatorships and completely government-owned economies, This isn't even taking them into account, which is not what we should be doing. I remember that's what Antonius Antonopoulos talks about is the unbanked people and what Bitcoin can mean for them. Now it isn't just about buying a coffee. It's about making a new institution for the people who have gotten fucked for the past century by the current one. So I'll jump back on. When CoinDesk Mune. I'm not exactly sure what Mune means, Carl. But thank you for stopping by. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm stupid. CoinDesk has already mooned. They have mooned me fully on their page. But I'll go back to this because I'm just gonna. Well, I'll drag myself back from Zach's thing. Going back to all this Bitcoin, like I was saying, it's great if we can keep it separate from a financial institution. If we can keep kind of bastions where you don't have to give your ID, where you don't have to give out pretty much all of your personal information just to be able to have money and keep money someplace. That would be great. I think that's a very good step. It'd be a good step in the right direction, but that's not where, if you want to make money in this, if you want to run a business, that's not where things are looking right now. This is like, I have some sympathy whenever people talk about, well, the market economy, that means the only thing that get decided are where the money is. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't say it was perfect, but that's very evident in this kind of situation. Now, I would argue that's because there's some false, what's the word I always use? There's some false incentives that kind of push this way because of the current system, and people don't want to have to not pay with their Discover or something. They don't want to have Bitcoin where you kind of have to go through some different, it's a little bit more hands-on than just typing in your credit card number. And then if your credit card number, if you accidentally mess something up, then you just call your credit card and go, hey, I didn't do that, give me my money back. Can't really do that with Bitcoin. You can send a message to somebody and then you can go, I really, really would like you to send this back. So there isn't that kind of, there isn't that safety net to it. And that is partly, we don't live in a society right now that likes to take financial risks. We're fine with taking all other kinds of risks. We'll start millions of wars. The population will get blackout drunk every single weekend like clockwork and then stumble around the city. We'll take more like just drugs on drugs on drugs on drugs, mix them together, throw everything together. But no, I mean, I don't want to risk having a money that I'm in control of. I mean, what you saw me back there whenever I almost overdosed for the 17th time. Why? And I get that. I don't think that's the conscious decision of most people where they're saying the reason I don't want my own free money is because I'm irresponsible, but that's kind of how it seems. But yeah, if Voorhees wants to run a profitable business where he can't just have it, besides what people want and what people care about, if he wants to run this business without the constant risk and anxiety of the government just going, hey, yep, something bad happened with some Bitcoin that you sold, something like happened to Charlie Shrem. That's a very good example. They just, well, yeah, there was this maybe transaction and it went to some stuff that we don't think is okay. So, sir, you're going to jail. If he doesn't want that, if he doesn't want not even just that happening, but just having to operate under that happening, because it's not, the KYC doesn't stop people from doing that, but it does then give whatever company is doing it some kind of, gives them some buffer. They're like, well, we checked them, we thought they were fine. Well, it's not our fault they did it. They did something against our practices or whatever. That gives peace of mind. Being able to just pass the buck gives peace of mind. If you don't have the option to pass the buck like that, then you kind of always have to be worried that something's going to happen. You kind of always have to be like, well, what happens if somebody just comes after us? Like what happens if anything really happens? It's kind of a never ending pit of just worry. And being concerned that the government might just kind of on a whim go, hey, yep, let's go get these guys. So I see his point. I see the point of yeah, we just need to do this because, as he said, quote, the risk of not doing so had gotten too great. What I do have something of a problem with was just how Voorhees had originally said it was a tweet. So that's the problem with tweeting anything that's really meant to be taken completely seriously, is you can kind of just use different language, how you're feeling at that moment, because it's such a quick little thing. It's a text. It's basically you sending a text to however many people follow you. And he said they were implementing it under duress. They were building it under duress, which I'm sure he meant as, or he wasn't necessarily lying, but I could definitely see him being like, yeah, no, it's like they're making us do this. Like, it's just easier to throw that out whenever the first people are like, why? How dare you? How dare you stop doing this? Because if you stand for something and then you stop doing it, that's a lot worse than if you never started doing it. And then, especially if you talk about it, which Voorhees is pretty vocal about, or was pretty vocal about, his libertarian values. If you talk about it and you actually practice it, then you have like people aren't just angry at you for not doing what they want. They're now disappointed because they're like, you were the good one. You were meant to stick around. You were the only good one. You were the guy that was kind of fighting against all this. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, wait, you don't do it anymore. That means that it puts a sour taste in all the last couple of years. Cause they're like, oh, you weren't really planning on doing this forever. So again, it's a bad situation. It's kind of a shitty situation, but I understand why. I'll do this screen share back and I'll see. I don't even know how many other episodes I'm really going to be getting into, or how many other articles I'll be getting into, because I've just been kind of ranting on this at some point. But again, if you're listening to this later, if you want the newest episode, or if you now I'm just clicking all over the place. If you want if you want to get to the live show in the future, as long as we have a landing page, you can go to ymb.tc/live, get that there. And I don't know, check out the website. Daniel, it's nice. I don't know what else to say besides that. But again, if you can tweet at Daniel, be like, hey, bro, nice website, that would mean the world to him. It would probably brighten his day up more than getting married will. And I would hope that just as a person in general, you should want to have that kind of effect on somebody's life. But continuing where I left off before he said the firm had spent, quote, months of legal work and over $1 million of legal expenses on this topic alone. That is money and time that would have been better spent building things to protect and serve customers, end quote. Again, I get that. That makes complete. They go, all right, well, we could fight this and have people studying it to make sure we're not doing anything. They could just very easily come after us, or we could just focus on doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is making money. You can make whatever stand you want, but especially if it's a financial service, there's not a lot of people who will support a financial stand, because we are so in our lives so dependent on this, like the standard financial institution. We live in the middle of the empire. We live in the belly of the beast. So it's hard to get away from the dollar. It's very hard to not use that in your daily life. So if you're gonna die on this sword, you need to pick something where other people will die on theirs. Like, you need to get your supporters, your customers to also be dying on a sword, because if you don't, then they're going to be like, okay, maybe not. Like, if they're not willing to die on their sword with you, then you don't really have a business model. You're kind of just catering to some people that are be like, oh yeah, I might use this, I might not. And then you're wasting millions of dollars and hours, like not just the money you're spending, but then also the money that is being, quote unquote, like, it could be avoided. It could be, like he said, put to better things if you didn't have to worry about this. Continuing, those comments confirm that regulatory considerations were a driving factor in the decision to make account identities mandatory. Voorhees framed it as a later addition to a program originally developed as an optional feature. Quote, KYC was thus stuck on to the membership platform. While optional membership and account-based features are certainly desired by many of our customers, there is nobody, including us, who desires forced KYC, end quote. The rest of this article just goes on that he has some Twitter exchanges with people. I guess he was saying that originally this whole membership model for where, like he said, there's this, the KYC was stacked onto what was going to be a different project, and it was kind of just made universal for using their website or their product. But he said that possibly this membership was originally meant to, quote, tokenized member to make, quote, tokenized membership model as a way to provide special perks for loyal users. Critics said he should have just shut the company down rather than compromise his pro-privacy principles. Again, why? Probably the people saying that you should have closed down don't have things that they could even close down, and if they do, if they have anything that they could close down themselves, if they owned anything like that, I'm going to imagine they haven't done that. I'm going to imagine that unless they somehow made $1 billion off of Bitcoin jumping way up, if they need to make that money, they continue to do that. All these people complaining about him, that I'm fine with complaining about. I'm fine with even going on Twitter and shitting on him and adding him and being like, oh yeah, no, you suck now. But then telling him that he should have shut it down is kind of ridiculous. It doesn't really make that much sense, because it's well, if you put yourself in this situation where you've built this business, you've spent all this time, again, not even just the money you've invested, but the time, the relationships you have with this, the networking you have from this, would you then go, oh, yep, I'm gonna stand by my principles, which most people, and a majority in America and then probably in the world, don't really give a shit about. Most people aren't on Twitter going, hey, yeah, this shapeshifter stuff is great. It's going to make everything better. Bitcoin should be free. No, most people on Twitter, again, tweeting the halfway put together tweets are people arguing about a Supreme Court decision, and the rest of them are just people going, hey, what are you thinking about right now? Or guys say, yeah, the football game was good. It's not, there's nothing even out there that should make him think that people would care. It was probably just kind of doomed from the start. And I have to at least give Voorhees some credit, where if I was in this situation, I think if any of us were in this situation, we would just do the exact same thing. We wouldn't go, hey, yep, let's fight against the US government. Let's spend all this money in legal stuff. Like you saw what happened to Wilson. Regardless of what you think with what happened recently with the sexual assault allegations, but before that, he spent, they gave a number for it, but I believe it was something of like 2 million, maybe even more, just in legal things, fighting over the right of him to distribute the 3D printing plans. And then that was in a market of people that would generally go over that. Like gun owners and gun enthusiasts are going to be pretty, there's a lot of them. There's more people involved with guns and gun kind of enthusiasm that would then be willing to donate to that, and donate to the legal defense, and donate to these things, and keep those costs from just entirely falling on Wilson. There's more people in that, I believe, than there are people involved in Bitcoin that really give that much of a shit about privacy. There's a lot of people involved with Bitcoin that, I mean, there's a big chunk where it's a money thing. It's an investment. You're playing the market, but then also it's people who are like, yep, no, I kind of like it. I think it's a good way to do faster or more international payments. I think it's good that it's kind of separated from the financial institution, but I think we should work to kind of integrate the two, so that we can kind of heal the current financial institution, instead of something like Shapeshift and this whole not needing IDs, where you need people that go, nope, we need Bitcoin to be separate from it. We need, if there's integration, make the current financial institution do that as they die, and make them do that as they fall out of favor. Let's not bend over backwards as Bitcoin to kind of ingratiate ourselves to these people, because fuck them. Yeah, that's what Cody Wilson had behind him. He had people willing to do that. Apparently Voorhees did not. So that, I mean, that's something. I mean, that's a my fault just as much as anybody else's, where I just wasn't paying attention. I never was like, oh, here, yeah, let's all donate money. But it's kind of telling as to where I think Bitcoin is headed as far as like being the mainstream crypto. I don't see a lot of people arguing for privacy. I see it as pretty much going the way of, again, like Zach has made this point again. I'm going to keep bringing, because this is Zach's rip show. He made the point, and we were talking a while ago. We brought up Wilson. We brought up Ross Ulbricht from the Silk Road. Then Zach was like, yeah, what about Charlie Shrem? Nobody even brings him up anymore. And this guy should be like a hero in our community. But it seems like people just kind of want to push him away, kind of want to just push him to the side and not have to talk about how he got fucked over and he got railroaded by the government. And we don't want to have to worry about that. Again, I like the chats. I like about CoinDesk mooning. I like saying hello to me, but I do need information on the Midwest. I need things to do in the Midwest. I'm getting there a day before the wedding. I cannot hang out with Daniel and his family for that long. If you've met Daniel, you thought he was annoying. Oh God, it's not even come close to what the rest of his family. No, they're actually pretty nice people. He doesn't like me saying so, but his sister's pretty hot. So I will look forward to seeing them all. Going. I got a few more minutes. I'll try to go through these things pretty quickly. There's another article I'm looking at on CoinDesk where it's U.S. lawmakers move forward on crypto task force approval. I guess it's just more Congress is talking about a task force to investigate cryptocurrency. There's a new bill that's looking to establish the Independent Financial Technology Task Force to combat terrorism and illicit financing, because all these fucks always have to have the longest name for things because it makes it seem more pristine and less of them just go, hey, we need to fix this stuff because you're doing things that we're doing, giving money to people away that is supposed to be untraceable. This is bullshit. Apparently, the public records indicate that the bill was passed by the House with a motion to reconsider laid on the table, being agreed to without objection. I guess this is just a new bill. You can look up the House Resolution Bill or House Resolution 5036. The bill also provides rewards for individuals or entities who provide information leading to convictions for malicious actors using cryptocurrency to fund terrorist activities. So again, more snitching, more if you see something, say something. But if you see us doing something, shut the fuck up. And if you say anything, we may kill you or we'll at least throw you in jail. So that's cool. It's always nice whenever they have this kind of double standard going for themselves. Again, going back, Bitcoin being private is the only thing that gives us any kind of financial power, even close to what these people have and what somebody in the kind of an elite status in this country or in just the world economy right now has. Bitcoin gives us that freedom. Crypto gives it even more so. Bitcoin is not anonymous, but through it, you can be a little bit more anonymous. You can not have your dirty laundry just aired completely in front of everybody if they so choose to look for it. There's another article here about, and this is from Cointelegraph, and it's definitely a clickbaity title, why the crypto market will likely rally by the end of 2018. So I'll throw the screen share back on because I know I don't want to give you guys my full face right now. I know it's a little bit overwhelming just with the good looks here, but fuck, where'd it go? Why the crypto market will likely rally by the end of 2018. Experts discuss. This is on Cointelegraph by Joseph Young. They're just talking about the different corrections that Bitcoin has seen. Apparently, the correction the crypto market experienced in 2018 resulted in a 69% drop in the price of Bitcoin, with some other cryptocurrencies like Binance Coin, BNB, and EOS recording smaller losses. In August 2010, August 2011, January 2014, and January 2018, Bitcoin demonstrated 70 to 80% losses against the US dollar. I have some graphs here, different price corrections. And then again, like I said, I haven't looked at most of these articles. Definitely not this one. This is actually a little bit way longer than I thought it was. So fuck that. I'm just going to comment on this. I have been calling this. I didn't give any dates because I can't actually call it and I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I'll go with this. By 2018, there'll definitely be a rally. It like definitely on Twitter, people have gone like it goes up a little bit and like here we go, it's going, and then it doesn't. But it'll eventually come. I'm sure it doesn't stop here. We've talked pretty much ad nauseum on this show about people who are not into Bitcoin, people that don't care about any cryptocurrencies, just going, yep, nope, it's done. And it's like you guys have said this multiple times before, and I've also had all kinds of other people telling me this. I'm not going to start believing it now. So, I mean, if you're involved with Bitcoin, if you have extra money to put in, I'd say throw it all in. But before you do that, take 10%, 15%, because you'll give 10% to the church. We're giving you, like, we're giving you the moral, philosophical, and ethical kind of discourse and instruction that a church would. And then we're also giving you technology updates. So we are worth that extra 55%. You can do an extra 15% if you want. If you want to give 25% of your whole assets, because I will ask for that. Because in the same way, God doesn't just want your tithe out of your check. He wants tithe out of all your assets, and that's what I want too. So send all of that to us. Make Daniel remember that I'm the only one who ever gets money on this show, and make him feel bad after you tell him, wish him a happy wedding and all this shit. But like I said, I've been saying this probably going to happen. Daniel and Zach have also been saying it. I'm not the only one. But I can see a rally happening. It's happened so many times before that the people will eventually pick it back up. Bitcoin, I do not think is anywhere close to being done. I think nothing has overtaken it yet. There's nothing yet where people are going, yep, no, this is going to replace it. This has all the fixes that Bitcoin runs into problems with the scaling and everything. Bitcoin still has that first to market advantage. I think they're going to continue to push that. They're going to continue to work with that. It's not there. It's we pretty much. And then it's us in a smaller, like normally the individual person, it is still us because it's small enough. But I do have to admit a lot of it does then have to do also with mining pools and with people trading. So it isn't just me sitting here going, yep, Bitcoin's good because of the privacy. It is also just the people making money off it. That does change things. But that's going to happen again. I'm not going to put any money up to it. I'm not going to be like fucking John McAfee and be like, I'm going to eat my dick if if Bitcoin isn't up to a certain amount. But I don't see it stopping here. If you have some extra money, throw it into Bitcoin, throw it into different cryptos, get into trading a little bit if you want. If you don't, if you just want to put some money aside, Bitcoin is a fine investment. Over long term, I wouldn't call it an investment short term, but I think over long term, I think it's a decent investment. Over short term, it's a cool speculation. You can tell people that, hey, I either lost 80% of my value or my value went up by 100% or whatever it did. So get involved. If you haven't bought any Bitcoin yet, definitely buy a little bit. And then the final article I had for this week for you guys is, I will have nothing technical to say about this because I did not read it. This is getting on the level of technical where I'm not sure if, even if Daniel and Zach were both here, we would have that much of a better discussion. Maybe because they don't want to make me feel too stupid. But there was a recent bug with a new implementation of Bitcoin that was put out, and this is, I'm looking at an article or a blog post from Bitcoin Core, and I'll do the screen share for this last little bit because, like I said, I'm pretty much going to be reading through it and probably understanding less than what you are, but we'll make it together because I don't know. We will. Who knows? It'll all work out in the end, probably. So you keep on seeing my face over there. There we go. CVE 2018 17144, full disclosure. And this is at bitcoincore.org. You can go to their, I found it on their front page. They said, Daniel sent this to me earlier in the week. I did not read it because fuck him. But there was an inflation bug. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Well, I guess we'll read through this for a little bit, maybe figure it out. The number I gave, CVE 2018 17144, was a fix for which was released on September 18th in Bitcoin core version 0.16.3 and 0.17.orc4. Includes both a denial of service component and a critical inflation vulnerability. It was originally reported to several developers working on Bitcoin Core, as well as projects supporting other cryptocurrencies, including ABC and Unlimited, on September 17th as a denial of service bug only. However, we quickly determined that the issue is also an inflation vulnerability with the same root cause and fix. In order to encourage rapid upgrades, the decision was made to immediately patch and disclose the less serious denial of service vulnerability, concurrently with reaching out to miners, businesses, and other affected systems while delaying publication of the full issue to give times for systems to upgrade. On September 20th, a post in a public forum reported the full impact, and although it was quickly retracted, the claim was further circulated. At this time, we believe over half of the Bitcoin hash rate has upgraded to patch nodes. We are unaware of any attempts to exploit this vulnerability. And they have technical difficulties, timeline. This means all of it means nothing to me. At this time, we believe over half of the Bitcoin hash rate has upgraded to patch nodes. We are unaware of any attempts to exploit this vulnerability. Then I did get a Snapchat or a pic or a text from the dead from Zach. It says all the nodes still haven't updated. I guess that was referencing this. I wasn't exactly sure because it came close to 4 days after the original post, but I do think that's what he was talking about. Okay, yeah, they had the nodes haven't updated this yet as of Zach texted me at 8:20, so that's about an hour and a half ago. As of September 27th. Again, going back to the article, however, it still remains critical that affected users upgrade and apply the latest patches to ensure no possibility of large reorganizations, mining of invalid blocks, or acceptance of invalid transactions. So I guess check this out. You're going to probably do better of figuring this out for yourself if you read this instead of having me try to explain what this all means. They were trying to, let's see, Bitcoin Core 0.14.x. Any attempts to double spend a transaction output within a single transaction inside of a block will result in an assertion failure and crash, as was originally reported. So if they implemented something new, they figured out that there is a denial of service component that could have been used against people, and then also an inflation vulnerability, which this I'm going to stop Daniel whenever I meet him on Saturday and be like, what the fuck does this mean? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. But I don't know what the inflation vulnerability means for something like this. What did it say? I read that before, but it said that besides the denial of service, we quickly determined that the issue was also an inflation vulnerability. I guess that might be in the technical thing, but I'm not finding that as I'm kind of just trying to race through it. And we're pretty much at the end of the episode anyway. So I'll just leave that for you guys to check out if you feel like looking at that. Again, next time I see you, I'll probably do an episode sometime late next week. I'm not sure whenever Daniel, if he even did put out my most recent one. I'm not really going to worry about it. I'm not going to try to record. I'm not taking any recording equipment. I told Zach that I will live stream the wedding to the dead. I might set up Periscope? Is Periscope still a thing? I used to use that a lot more than I do. I never put stuff out, but I might try to set up something like that on there. Oh, good. I just try to look at it, and I guess I have to make a whole new account and everything. Uh, we'll see how that goes. But I might put some on there. Look for my Twitter again at Baker's Dozen 93. You can find that there. I might live stream some shots or something. Although, there might not be shots. Or at least don't tell Daniel there are if there are. But I might do that on there. Again, send your thoughts and prayers to Zach in the afterlife. Wish Daniel the best of advice or the best of luck, I guess. And then as far as advice this week, come back next week at 9 p.m. Eastern for the live show again. Again, look for ymb.tc/live. I believe Zach will probably be back on with me then. I think Daniel will be on his honeymoon, but we'll have a little bit more of a discussion on here instead of me just complaining to you guys. If you like the show, share it, play it for somebody, send me some money, tell Daniel and Zach they suck. For advice, I'll use the Eric Voorhees thing. Try in your life, if you have a belief or something you want to hold yourself to, try to set yourself up to be as independent as you can with that, so that you don't have to rely on somebody else going against their incentives to continue doing it. You don't want your life and what you believe in based off of somebody else doing something out of charity, basically, or out of their own convictions, because convictions can change, and even the strongest convictions go away as soon as they start involving money most of the time. And it's kind of unfair to expect other people to do that if you're not going to go out of your way to support them as well. So also, second part of that advice, if you do like something, if you see somebody standing up for that, send them money, offer to support something. You need to be kind of proactive with that stuff. And if they're doing that big of a service that's so much different from everybody else, you need to support that with your money, show them that it's worth doing it, or else we're not going to have any kind of alternative to anything, not just in financial institutions, but also in entertainment, news media, in really anything. If we don't start supporting this stuff, we can talk all we want about how we don't like big corporations running everything, but if we're not willing to spend the extra money that a smaller organization or a smaller person has to charge or needs for running things, we're not going to have that. And I would prefer that we don't lose those things. So go out and support people. Have a good week. Have a great week. Learn some more about Bitcoin, buy some more Bitcoin, and we'll see you here next week for episode 262. Thank you guys. Daniel loves you. I don't really know how I feel right now. I have this word thing on there. It's supposed to be an applied thing, so I don't know if it's fucking around with my head a little bit. I feel a little bit lightheaded. But no, thank you guys. Love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.